have our Rhino all apart because when I was driving it, I stopped, put it in gear, and it wouldn't go ahead. I managed to get it in reverse, and that's the only way it would drive, and just in reverse. So obviously the gear shifter, something was wrong. So we pulled it all apart, and this is what we found. So these are the two little gears that are responsible for shifting the gear. And if you look closely, the teeth are broken on this one and also on this one a little bit. So when they were going together to try to shift, they weren't catching. So those are the two pieces we have to replace. So we went and bought some new pieces, and we're about to put it back together.
See, here's the two punch lines it has to line up in.
Okay.
Well, what we have here is the gear, one of the two gears, and as you can see, they're wore down. And what's interesting about that is it only seemed to be sitting on 3/4 of the width of the gear, because all of the inside gears are wore off even more. So I'm pretty surprised with that, because this machine only has I think maybe 32 or 3,300 kilometers. I think we'll take a look and we'll show you. The machine only has 3,400 kilometers. So that's really not very much mileage. We know the machine's a bit older. It's a 2005 Rhino, but it hasn't been used very much. So you can see this is where it got damaged. And it too rode mostly 3/4 of the gear. I don't know if you guys can see that. So what's important here is the assembly of this gear. This is the first piece, and so on and so on. And another thing that's important here is to remark the side that the two dots are on, because they're going to line up with this dot, allowing the two gears to center themselves up. So just remember that when you're assembling it. I'm going to start with this piece, pass it through the gear, the washer, and this piece will go on in a minute. This goes on this side. Then your spring fits on here. And the spring is a little bit tricky to put on. You want to squeeze these two ends in to fit in here, and then they got to fit into this slot here. That'll allow some flexibility in the shifting. So if there's a little notch or whatever, it doesn't jam the gears. So let's put in the first piece. Now I'm going to install this piece on this side here, remembering to keep the dots on the side that you see. So when I get that assembled, I'll show you. So now we were able to assemble the spring into this piece and now into this piece. I used the vice grips and I just simply grabbed it like that, and I was able to squeeze the spring in enough to get it to come out onto this side flush. And this here bolt goes in here now. And that goes into the beginning of the gearbox. And as you can see my dots. They'll line up like that. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. Now we'll know that the alignment will be correct. So, then you have a washer and your bolt. And this piece fits on right here. right here
On the bottom.
on the bottom. So we're going to install that now. We'll tighten that in, and then we'll install the top piece. So if I understand this correctly, which I might have to research, when you're installing this, you want to make sure that your transmission is in the neutral position. That'll help center the two gears so that there's enough teeth to be able to rotate it to reverse in the rear, to neutral, and then to drive, and then to low range. So you have 4 gears that you have to be able to travel on these sprockets. You can see the dots are lined up, so we're hoping that's the right position. So this is the replacement gasket, and what's important about this is that you take a minute and look at your gasket and see that there's one hole bigger than the others. So when you come down here, we can see these are regular bolts, and here we have a dowel pin.
And the big hole goes on that dowel pin.
That's right.
Okay.
The gasket fits on nicely.
Yep. I'll get out of your way to let you do
It'll
your
be
job.
easier. So we installed the 4 bolts. Don't forget to put your bracket on. And don't forget to put your ground wire back on. And when you're tightening this, don't tighten them too much because they're only small bolts. You don't want to strip them or break them. And there she be. I need to readjust my shifter. Yeah, give me a wrench to loosen that. So here we had to readjust the shifter because during the period that we're having problems with this, I kept trying to adjust the linkage here. That would shorten the run of the shifter or lengthen the run of the shifter. So now with the new gears, there's absolutely no more loose. So now we've pretty well eliminated that problem. Now we'll have to go back and readjust all this. So as you can see, we have forward and reverse, and it seems to be working well. So we'll try it out and see how it goes. you guys on the next one.